We're happy to have Dr. Paul Root Wolpe, the director of the Center of Ethics from Emory University, with us here today. Welcome, Paul.
Great to be here. Thanks.
Do you think that Facebook addiction is a growing problem? And if so, why is that?
I think Facebook addiction is a part of a larger electronic addiction that we have. Electronic information is very seductive. We can do it by ourselves at our own time. It's highly stimulating. It's something that engages us, and it is extraordinarily convenient and easy. In addition, it does give some gratification in terms of a sense of connection to other people, sometimes a very broad sense of connection with people all over the world. I think that especially young people who use their phones now and grew up in that environment, and they don't have to learn it. It comes organically to them through peer relationships and things. Integrate that into their lives in ways that are both healthy but also pretty unhealthy.
So what are the ethical implications of technology addiction?
I think the single most important problem with the way in which we communicate and with the kind of addictive behavior that people show today is that it removes people one step from real encounters, from face-to-face actual interactions with other people. And there are important life skills, there's important information that one gains in face-to-face interactions that one just simply can't perceive over electronic communication, even if you can see physically the person you're talking to, even through WhatsApp or FaceTime or something where you're actually seeing the other person. There are physical touch, smell, sight, movement. So when you're on FaceTime, your face is always stuck right into that mechanism that is communicating.
Do you see technology addiction creeping into the workplace? And if so, how has that hurt productivity and creativity?
So there is no question that one of the results of electronic spread into the workplace is siloing of work. And that is people spend a lot more time at their desk in front of their computers in situations where before this they would have been engaging in face-to-face interactions. So now instead of going and talking to someone, you just send them an email. And instead of handing a piece of paper over to someone else and sitting down next to them and discussing what you're doing, you send the document through email and you hope that, your quick email message says everything you need to say.
What do you think the impact of artificial intelligence will be on jobs?
I think there will be a number of them, and they will be extremely disruptive. First of all, there's going to be massive job displacement, and that's for a number of reasons having to do with AI across the board. We're doing a project on that here at Emory right now, where we're looking at what the responsibility is of businesses who are planning massive job displacement. After all, we know about the recent death last week by an automated car of a woman trying to cross the street. But that doesn't mean that Uber isn't going to try to continue to build and perfect automated cars. And their ultimate goal is to use all automated cars instead of Uber drivers, which will displace over 300,000 jobs in the United States. Other companies, delivery companies, Amazon, Domino's, they're all talking about alternative delivery systems, all of which use AI. So if you just talk about delivery of humans and goods, you're talking about displacing millions of jobs. And that doesn't even count cashiers and other people who could be replaced by AI. So the very first thing I want to say about it is it's going to disrupt the employment structure of the United States in profound ways that will lead to enormous job displacement and I think social upheavals of various kinds based on that. So that's one thing. A second thing is it will change the nature of jobs. So another project that we're doing here is looking at AI in our medical system. So, for example, there already are studies that show under certain circumstances, AI can read scans even better than trained radiologists. They can catch things that trained radiologists miss. So we're going to get to the point where all of our scans are being read entirely by AI. And what is the implication of that for medical care, which has already gotten less personal and has been sacrificed to other kinds of technology so that people don't feel a strong connection with their healthcare providers the way they used to? Will that further estrange the healthcare encounter? So those are on the negative side. Of course, there are positive sides too. AI is going to allow more home health care, which means that medicine will become less expensive rather than more expensive in certain areas. So again, like in all places, these are technologies, and technologies themselves are rarely good or bad. They are tools, and our responsibility as human beings is to figure out how to use the tools in a most productive and enhancing way and not let ourselves become slaves to our tools.
Do information workers need to fear AI now or in the coming future?
Some certainly do. I mean, the new kind of information worker will be one that can integrate AI into their job well, or that knows how to manipulate AI or use the information it generates to integrate into larger information needs. But yes, there are going to be information workers who get replaced by AI. At the beginning, simple ones, and then as we go on, perhaps more sophisticated ones. AI is cheaper than human beings, and businesses will have economic incentives to replace workers with AI. And I'm a sociologist. And at every point in modern history of fundamental technological disruption of the workplace, there has also been social unrest. And I really do think that we are headed for a social unrest based on AI. That is, we're going to see a point, not ready to predict how many years in the future, but not all that many, where the job disruption and the economic rapid change caused by the integration of AI is going to cause resentment and certain kinds of social protest and upheaval in developed countries. And I just think that has to happen. I don't think that that's even a radical or chancy prediction. It is just the way history seems to go when we have these massive technological changes.
So were there any other tips you have for how workers could be more mindful or present at work?
Between meetings and email, my life, if I could take both of those things out of my life, I'd have 80% more free time. That's just the way it is today. And so, for example, at our center, we've started a series of 3-letter symbols that go into the subject line of an email. EOM means end of message, and that means that what's in the subject line is all you really have to know. Don't bother opening the email. Don't bother reading it. I just wanted to tell you this one thing. Or ATC, which means action. Please open this. There's something you actually need to do. Don't put this in your queue to read later. So we've tried to use, and there are a whole series of them. So we've tried to use 3-letter cues to help us move through email more efficiently. I try to run 2 kinds of meetings. Really kind of draconian meetings where we have something we need to do, we do it quickly and efficiently and get out of there. And then other meetings, especially more around these creative issues that I've tried to say before, where we try to structure the meeting so we don't do mundane tasks, but rather we use that meeting for creative thought only, and we leave the tasks around that thought for another time. So there are ways to try to, within a workplace, creatively manage these problems, and that in itself is becoming its own kind of expertise and literature on how you manage electronic media in the modern workplace.
Okay, that's kind of to wrap things up. We talked a bit about artificial intelligence, too many apps, Facebook addiction, device addiction. Do you think that more technology can help alleviate too much technology?
Here's the irony of technology. Every technology creates problems that we try to solve with newer technologies. And so we're always creating technologies to solve the problem of older technologies. And these new technologies themselves create problems for which we try to create newer technologies. And we always seem to have too much technology and not enough technology at the same time. And that is the sort of branching tree of technology. Sometimes it consolidates. If you look at iPhones and other PDAs, what they tried to do was take a lot of disparate technologies and pack them into one and try to consolidate, and that will branch out again. It always does. So, yes, technology, and by the way, if we look to the future, the next wave of technology, and we've just seen the beginnings of this, is both wearable and implantable technologies.
Okay, thanks, Paul, very much.